What is happening, everyone? Tomas here. Welcome back to another video. Today I got a very special secret that I'm going to share with you guys that's going to help you protect yourself, okay, down the line, especially if you plan on having a professional future and one with a lot of wealth. I do want to apologize though, in the past week or so I haven't actually been that active, but this was due to unforeseen circumstances, okay, believe me. I've actually been living back in the Stone Age for about the past week as I have had no internet access whatsoever. That's right, my internet went down about over a week ago now, and it took Cogeco, that's my internet provider, over a week just to come out here to take a look at it. So long story short, they came out here a few days ago, and it turns out at the end of the day, nothing was wrong with my router, nothing was wrong with my connection, but it turns out that the actual wire that was running to my house that gives us the internet from a pole down the road was actually ripped out, and that was due to none other than my neighbor who decided to park his U-Haul truck in a terrible spot, and this actually took out the whole wire. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. I do apologize, but I'm back now and I got a lot of videos on the way still. So before we get into today's video, just make sure that if you like this video, if you enjoy it, if you learn something from this video, that you give that like button a big fat click for me, okay? And go ahead and smash the subscribe button too. Become part of the financial community here. You'll see regular content like this from me. I try to post about 2 videos a week right now. It just really helps me push my videos in front of the right people and helps my channel grow with the whole YouTube algorithm. Every time you guys comment, like, subscribe, all that good activity helps me grow my channel. So I do appreciate it. And that's really all I'm doing this here for, okay? That's my main goal, is to help spread this helpful content to people that are going to absorb it, people that are going to appreciate it and hopefully utilize this information. Now, without further ado, how can you properly protect everything you own? If you've ever heard of John D. Rockefeller, he was a business magnate that lived from the early 1800s through to the 1900s, and he lived about 97 years old, which was one of his goals actually, to live to 100, so he almost made it. Anyways, Rockefeller revolutionized the petroleum industry, and from doing this he became really rich. More than just rich too, he became so rich, like stupid rich, guys. He was one of the most wealthiest people to ever roam the earth. So he was so rich that when he died, all his personal assets accounted for 2% of America's economic output, just from one guy. So a lot of the Rockefellers have since passed, but their family is still extremely wealthy today. The reason I bring him up is because John's great-grandson, Nelson Rockefeller, was once quoted saying something famous, okay? He said that the secret to success is to own nothing but control everything. Now, as eye-opening and maybe even as cryptic as this quote may be, what does it actually mean? Well, as it turns out, he was talking about how rich people tend to protect their assets, okay? But this is something that you can learn from and you can do yourself. And the basis behind this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a corporation. Corporation is the real key to ensuring that down the line in the future, you don't lose everything you have. Now, before you think about clicking away or start thinking that this is getting technical, just believe me, guys, it's not that hard to understand. So just listen closely and consider what I'm about to share with you. A corporation, in a simple definition, is nothing more than a piece of paper that you're filing with the government, okay? It's not some huge factory, it's not hundreds of employees working for you. It doesn't even have to be an actual brick and mortar physical place. All it is a separate entity that helps you protect your personal assets. Okay, well, do something for me and imagine this. Down the line, you're really successful, okay? You have a big property, a big house, and things are going really good for you. Now, next thing you know, let's forget about the circumstances, but let's say you end up getting sued by someone. You have to realize that we live in a very litigious society these days, okay? Litigious meaning litigation. You have everybody everywhere trying to get a quick buck, okay? You have people filmed regularly trying to jump into slow-moving traffic to try and sue the driver that hit them. Or I bet even you have thought about taking a slip where there's no wet floor sign and trying to cash in real quick. Everybody could use that, right? With lawsuits so common, it should come to no surprise to tell you that rich people, okay, they often have a target on their back. So back to the example here. Let's say you're getting sued for a very large amount of money. Well, this is where things can get ugly. If you don't have enough money to pay for what you're being sued, then the plaintiff is entitled to anything you hold personally under your own name. That's right, you heard me. So that means any investments you have, any fancy cars, that fancy boat, even the house you live in can get swiped out right from under your feet. You can literally work your whole life just to obtain that nice home and some great wealth, just to lose it all overnight just from something as simple as being sued. It's an extremely scary thing to imagine, but guys, trust me, this is real stuff. These things happen every day. So this is where the corporation comes in and saves the day. But first, I think it's important that you understand the 3 types of businesses and how they work. Now, the first is sole proprietorship, okay? This is the most common form of business as it's the most simple and it's easy to set up. So if you decide to open your own auto repair shop, or maybe you have a store on the corner that sells cookies, this is probably going to be a sole proprietorship. The problem with these is that with a sole proprietorship, this business is under your name. So that means that when you pay taxes, you're paying these taxes as your personal taxes. There's nothing wrong with sole props, okay? But the issue is that you are 100% liable, and that is the kicker. So what exactly does that mean? Well, let's say you were to get sued again. Well, if your business was all you had to cover, then you're going to lose that whole business, okay? But let's say you get sued as the business, then since that's under your personal name, then like we talked about, you can end up losing your own personal home and anything under your name. So sole proprietorships, good idea, but if you want to protect your assets, terrible idea. Now this is sort of similar to the second type of business, and that's a partnership. This resembles a sole proprietorship, except that this time a partnership is an agreement between two or more people that share in the profits or losses of a business, okay? And this makes it even worse if you're trying to protect your assets, and I'll tell you why. As you and your partners are both, or you're all owners of your business, you are all liable, okay? And this can turn out to be a disaster because now you have double, triple, or more opportunities to get sued. For example, let's say you own a delivery company, okay? But that's a partnership between you and a buddy. You get a call saying that your buddy did the unthinkable. He was drinking and driving. He ended up hitting someone and he paralyzed, and now they're suing him. Because this is a partnership, that means that you are just as liable as your partner is. So not only can you lose the business from this lawsuit, but you can also lose all of your own personal things, okay? So like we talked about, you could lose your house just because your partner did this, even though you weren't involved and you had no fault in it. So that brings us to the third type of business, and that is the almighty corporation. So this is your LTD, your limited, your Inc., your incorporated, or your corps, your corporations. Those are all titles of corporations. And then there are things like your LLPs, that's a limited liability partnership, and LLCs, which is a limited liability company. Those we don't have in Canada, so your best bet is a corporation. LLCs are only in the States, but the difference between all these things is pretty much how many people are owners, how you are taxed, and how things are managed within the company. Corporations give you the benefit of having this separate entity from your members and shareholders. And this separate entity has the same rights that an ordinary human does, okay? So they can possess and acquire assets, they can obtain loans, they can enter into contracts, and they can even sue. Now this separate entity brings with it limited liability, which basically means that if you're a member or a shareholder, you're not held responsible for this corporation's debts. So if you had a corporation, right, and then this corporation were to get sued or go bankrupt, something like that, the maximum you can lose is your original investment. And that's why this is such a great idea, guys, if you're planning to build wealth, because picture it like this, is essentially an insurance policy that you're giving yourself. That way, if in the future things go south, you're covered. You just have to remember it's going to act like insurance, okay? You need to do this first, not later. You can't go drive and hit someone with your car and then try and call and get insurance after that, okay? It doesn't work that way. If you get sued before making a corporation, then you can't go ahead and try and incorporate those assets after the fact. You can go and you can file a corporation, okay? You can file it provincially or federally, and that's going to cost you only about $200 to $500, okay, guys? So you can go and give yourself this insurance whenever you feel like it's the right time. This is a really great thing, especially if you're someone who owns a lot of property, okay? Someone, let's say like a landlord. If you hold all of your real estate under your own personal name, then this could end up turning into a real nightmare. Let's say if one of your tenants went to sue you, then you don't want to lose your rental houses, even your own personal property, right? So having your assets in a separate entity like a corporation is a very, very wise idea. But keep in mind, you can also use debt to help you protect your assets. Yes, I know this sounds weird, and believe me, you guys know I'm the biggest hater of debt, but imagine this, okay? Pretend you have a house worth $200,000. You have $20,000 of equity in it. Okay, that's $20,000 of your own money. And then you have a mortgage remaining for the last $180,000. Now say someone goes ahead and they're suing you for $200,000. Well, lucky for you, in this case, the bank has first dibs on the $180,000 left on the mortgage, okay? So that means that the person suing you is only going to get the $20,000 that you have in equity into the house and not a penny more. So situations like this, it's really going to help protect yourself through something like debt. Now, along with being a separate entity, having limited liability, a corporation, you're also going to get taxed easier, okay? Because corporation taxes are less than individual taxes. And additionally, corporations have continuous existence, okay? So unlike a sole proprietorship or a partnership that ceases to exist upon death or departure of the owners, with a corporation, this entity will still exist and continue to exist after such things. So this truly is the meaning behind the rich owning nothing yet controlling everything. They were smart enough to make all their business a separate entity for themselves so that they technically are not even owning remotely close to as much as they're controlling through these corporations. Corporations protect your assets, save you money through taxes, and they even ensure that your growth and the resulting wealth is going to last into the future. So that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. My goal today was to teach you yet another little talked about topic that's going to have a big impact on your journey to reaching financial freedom. So I hope I did that. If you did enjoy this video, if you did learn something, then do me a favor, okay? Right now, quick, don't hesitate. Smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button for me. Helps me grow my channel, and I'm really just doing this for viewers like this, so it means a lot, and I do appreciate the support, guys. Hit that bell icon to stay notified for every upload. I should be back to consistency now. Sorry about that week with all my internet issues. Share this with a friend, a family member. Questions, comments, leave those in the section down below. And get out those phones, guys. Okay, follow me on Instagram at Boss Financial Channel. And yeah, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Stay positive and see you next time.